It's late, I'm tired, and I watched 6 episodes of 24 today. No one should have to do that. There was a time when, I remember a time 10 years ago, when watching several hours worth of 24 in a day were not bad if you had nothing else to do. Me and my friend Katie would marathon 24. We would marathon episodes of the first season while gearing up to watch the new episode in the second season. So if you lined it up just right with the amnesia subplot in season 1, and then bam, you get a new episode of season 2, and it's cougar mountain lion twist ending. You had a double dose of stupid that night. But that was a while back. Yeah, it was stupid then. I'm not going to argue that it wasn't stupid then, but I don't know. At the time, it kind of, I ignored it a little more because, ooh, maybe Jack will cut somebody's head off. Which, I'll get to that in a second. After I watched the 6th episode of the current miniseries season, I didn't watch any more after that. Not that I was like, ugh, well, I'm just gonna stop watching that, because no. I sat through 8 years of 24, and there is no fucking way that I'm gonna get broke and beaten by a 12-part miniseries. No, that's not gonna happen. That's like sitting through several seasons of it and then quitting halfway through 24 Redemption, or whatever that movie was called. No, that's not gonna happen. If they released a 24 movie in theaters, no, I'm not gonna walk out halfway through. I'm not gonna be beaten by that, and I'm not gonna be beaten by a 12-part miniseries. Granted, as I said last time, part of my reasoning for doing this vlog is to sort of justify watching this. Oh, I don't know. This is going to be very rambly. This is going to be one of those rambly vlogs where I'm probably going to end it, and then I'm going to sit there and say, oh shit, I forgot to talk about that one thing. So, this is already getting rambly. I'm going off on a lot of tangents here. Like I'm having a midnight screening video with myself, and not in a car. So when this, I wasn't purposefully ignoring the, I wasn't going out of my way to ignore the rest of the episodes after episode 6. It was just, I just didn't want to, I had other things to do, you know? I was watching other movies, I'm filming other things. It wasn't even hitting my mind like, oh, right, there's a new episode of 24. Cool. So, but I kept an eye on when the finale was going to be, because I'm like, okay, at the least, like, I've got to get all of these watched by this point, by when the finale airs. And I'm recording this the night of the finale, or what, I think it's kind of morning now. I think it's after midnight, but it's not that, I have a clock right here. Oh, I'm wrong. It's still the same night. It's 11:30, and the finale ended at 9, or 11 a.m. technically. So, anyway, I was planning out my week because I did the Snob episode of Brazilian Planet of the Apes over the weekend because I was gonna do it last week, but I was really tired from the con, and I sat down earlier that week to watch Brazilian Star Wars and was kind of like, I'm not in a tramps mood today. Like, I'm really not in a tramps mood today. It's so weird. This whole 24 mini marathon I did is probably the dumbest thing I've seen all week, and I've watched a Tramps movie this week. Brazilian Planet of the Apes, though, is significantly better than Brazilian Star Wars. I will give it that. I'll totally give it that. So, and anyway, because I did the Brazilian Star Wars thing over the weekend, I was still planning on doing another Snob episode this week. I don't know if I'll have time, because I'm also shooting another episode of The Reviewers this week, and there's a few midnight screenings like usual. And also, I looked at the TV schedule and 24 finale. So that meant that I had to take this afternoon and watch 5 hours of 24. before the finale being at 8 p.m. So I woke up, I went to go get some Chinese food from Mr. Egg Roll, the place that gave me food poisoning some years ago. Because if I'm gonna watch junk, I might as well eat junk. That just makes total sense. It's okay because I don't get the same thing that gave me food poisoning. The crab rangoon with curry in it. Okay. No, I got something completely different and I felt fine-ish. And so I'm watching the episodes on demand. And Fox on demand, you can't fast forward the commercials. So at one point I'm like, well, that's harsh. Really, I can't fast forward the commercial. You're just asking people to download it. That's what you're doing with that. Like, fuckers, I can still see what the commercial is as I'm fast forwarding it. They didn't make VCRs to block that out that I remember. None of the VCRs I had certainly did that. If commercials can survive the VCR age of people recording stuff and watching it later, which we did all the goddamn time, it can survive on demand. But I started to grow thankful that there were commercials there because it gave me a little bit of a break. It could be like, okay, I can send this email that I'm writing. I can check Twitter. I can check Facebook, all during watching this. Where did I even leave off last time? I really don't want to go through an entire breakdown of what happened in these remaining 6 hours. I want to start off by saying like what I liked about it, and of course it's all Kiefer Sutherland related. Of course. That's been the ongoing theme of these 3 vlogs I did. Show sucks, Kiefer Sutherland is awesome. It was, you had a terrorist daughter, and she got hit by a bus because the villains in this are just stupid and do stupid things only so that can lead to them getting caught. There's no other way for them to get caught unless they do something really, really, really stupid. And that continues. That still fucking continues because terrorist daughter is in the hospital from getting hit by said bus. She's in the hospital from getting hit by the bus, and Jack has to interrogate her to find out where Lady Stark is. If someone is going into this without having seen the previous vlogs, they're probably going to be way confused. They'll be like, what? Lady Stark? Terrorist daughter? Mr. Egg Roll? What is he talking about? I'm not making any of this up. Lady Stark is a terrorist in this, and she has a daughter who's also a terrorist, who's a redhead who looks a little bit like an alien. They need to introduce aliens into 24. You know what? That would be something different. Fuck it. That would be something different. It would probably be stupid. No more stupid than it is now. And it would at least be a change of pace. Introduce time travel into it. Jack Bauer goes back in time to kill Hitler. Okay, that's something different. I would be more keen on watching it. It would feel less like a sludge getting through it. So, Lady Stark finds out that terrorist daughter is probably going to give information to Jack Bauer, and so she has her drone set to blow up the hospital. Meanwhile, she's also sending this dude, a guy who works for her, like a hitman who works for her or whatever. She sends a heavy into the hospital to find out what room terrorist daughter is in so she can blow up that part of the hospital. A couple of things. One, if you're just gonna blow up the hospital, what's it matter what room she's in? Like, really? Come on. And people already know who Lady Stark is in this. She's not hiding herself. Everyone knows she's the terrorist. And if she's afraid that the daughter is going to give up information about where they're located, she could just move. Which they do. They do move to another location. Why would the blowing up the hospital and sending dude in there to which, by the way, the dude that they send in could not have possibly been more villainous looking if they tried. I take that back. Okay, the guy they send in the hospital, way villain looking totally. Big beard, arced-in eyebrows. He might as well have worn a sign that says terrorist. Instantly, when Jack Bauer sees him, he knows he's a bad guy, and he chases him down. The guy gets shot, and Jack screams out, "Damn it." That's literally what happens. That is actually what happens in this. But no, there's another guy in this, too. There's another guy in this who's even more cartoonishly evil than other dude. Like, I want to make the joke, like, oh, this guy that they send into the hospital to kill terrorist daughter, oh, he might as well have a big curly mustache. They do have a character like that in this. Big old Russian villain guy from like an 80s Cold War movie pops up who is after Jack Bauer because of some stuff Jack did with Russia in like a previous season. Now Russia wants Jack. The same reason why the Chinese wanted Jack in season 5. Same shit, different day. And so the Russians want him, but there's a Russian that they got is like this big old shaved head, curly mustache dude. He looks like he should just be, every room he enters, he just looks like he should be wrestling a bear. Perfect, or riding in on like one. He's like a turn-of-the-century strongman if he's Russian. Like he should be riding in on like one of those bicycles with a giant front wheel. Like that's how cartoonish looking this guy is in it. And so, and that guy comes into play because Tate Donovan, who's the president's chief of staff, Tate Donovan plays the president's chief of staff, and Tate Donovan kind of has like, if you like flattened William Shatner's 80s like kind of pompadour, he kind of has like that going on. And so Tate Donovan is kind of working with Jack through a lot of this, but he hates Jack because Jack used to bang Tate Donovan's wife. You know, time and place, right? That's totally when we need to be putting our jealous face on during a terrorist crisis in London. So, Tate Donovan wants to sell off Jack to the Russians. They're not really sell him off, but he wants to get rid of him. He's telling the Russians where Jack is. He's telling them how they can track Jack during all of this. And meanwhile, the Russians move in after Jack, but oh no, they're doing this at an inconvenient time, as Tate Donovan figures out. Oh crap, I didn't realize that Jack would probably like be in the middle of a very important mission to save London. Oh crap, I really shouldn't have done that. So he's basically tattletaled on Jack to the Russians because he's jealous that fucking Audrey, Kim Raver, is still in love with Jack because apparently this is high school. It's fucking high school. It's The Siege crossed with 15. Okay. I'm even getting ahead of myself in that. This is 12 episodes. This is 12 episodes long, and it's even stretched out at that. Like, yeah, it was nice of them to condense this down to 12 episodes as opposed to 24 episodes, because dear fucking God, I would have made it through it, yeah. But as hard as this was to sit through 12 episodes, I don't know how I did it for 8 years. I did, but I don't know how, retrospectively. Well, because earlier seasons were at least better. This show was always stupid, but maybe I was just young enough to enjoy said stupidity. And plus, you didn't have 8 years worth of the same thing at the very beginning of the series. Like, there was, as stupid as it was, there was still a freshness to it, sort of. Now, no, God, no. So this should have lasted only like 7 episodes. It is more or less wrapped up at the 7 minute, yeah, 7 minutes, yeah, there you go, at the 7 episode mark, because, 7 or 8 episodes, I can't remember, it is episode 7 or 8, because, now there's a couple of badass things that Jack does in this, because it's Jack Bauer, and even though it's a shitty season of a show that's turned out really fucking shitty, it's still Kiefer Sutherland playing Jack Bauer, and Jack Bauer is a really cool character. So, when they find out where Lady Stark is, they find out where Lady Stark is, and she's held up in this like empty building, like 7 or 8 stories up or something like that, and it's like down to the second there's a drone that's gonna hit like a subway system, I believe, or something like that. It's about to hit like a train station, and so down to the minute, you gotta get in there, you gotta maneuver the drone to get it to crash into the water. So Jack swings in through the window after pulling her son out the window and just dropping him down on the ground like several stories up, plop, dead. So Jack shoots Lady Stark in the leg, and she's yelling at him like, he spoiler, London's fine. Parts of it are anyway. There was a few explosions that went off throughout the season, but anyway, that particular one, the subway's fine. That one went into the water. And so Lady Stark is like, you may think you've won now, but we'll strike again, and all the deaths of innocent people will be on your head. And Jack goes, lady, the only death that's going to be on my head is yours. And he picks her up and chucks her out the window. He picks her, thump, like she's a rolled up carpet. He just throws her the fuck out the window. And I laughed. I was like, at that moment, I was like, okay, if it were to just end here, that would have made this whole thing worth it. If it were to just end there, it's a 7-part season. Okay, this is more the same. That's putting it fucking lightly. But that would have been a good payoff. Jack just chucking her out the window. And even some other things too, like Jack's attitude towards Tara's daughter. Like he's just straight up had enough. Like she's like in a coma, and they're trying to wake her up so they can get information out of her. And he's like, has the bitch woken up yet? That's like literally what he says. He says like, has the bitch woken up yet? He's like, if we wake her up, she might die. He's like, I don't care. And then he like tries interrogating her by pressing on her severed finger. She has a severed finger. By pressing on her severed finger, and then he leaves, and he says to Hannah McCabe, he says, I'm very sorry you had to see that. Like, when is Jack apologetic about torturing somebody? Jack, he's had enough at this point. He's just like, is the bitch woken up yet? The last thing we see of Tara's daughter is her just, like, seizing out on, like, the operating table. I have no idea if she's still alive or not. It does not cut back to her. It does not cut back to her at all. So what it keeps going with after that is that, oh no, CTU, or not CTU, that is totally CTU. CTU has a mold. Wow. Nina 3, 2, 4, how many fucking molds has there been? So, and it's Benjamin Bratt, who has been in charge of CTU throughout the season. And Hannah McCabe's husband had gone to jail and then killed himself because he was accused of being a traitor and like selling off secrets to the Chinese. But it turns out Benjamin Bratt was the one who was doing that, and he framed her husband. And then like this minor tech guy finds out about it. So Benjamin Bratt sends the tech guy on a pickup so he can assassinate him, even though, again, people doing stupid things only so they can get caught. That's what happens here. He sends a CIA hitman to kill the tech guy who's just standing at a dock. So there's no reason why this guy shouldn't have been killed off quick, like in any kind of... If this were... I know it's far-fetched, but Jesus Christ. This trained fucking CIA operative hitman just accidentally clips the guy on the shoulder. No reason why this guy ever would have missed this shot. No reason why he ever should have taken this shot from far away with a handgun. None whatsoever. So the tech guy gets away. Sure enough, like, The hitman follows him, the two fight it out, and the two end up both killing each other. Only so Benjamin Bratt can get caught. So Benjamin Bratt does get caught eventually. Now what's happening here is that the drones have like an override box, something like that, and that's what people are after. Michael Wincott, who is like the head of not WikiLeaks edit, is after this override box. The Chinese want it, I think. Yeah, the Chinese want it because they're trying to start a war between, or no, wait, the Russians want it because they're trying to, yeah, the Russians want it, or something like that, because they want to start a war between the US and the Chinese so Russia can become the superpower. I am probably getting some details wrong in that because I don't fucking care, to be perfectly honest. And it's supposed to be like this kind of big twist that Michael Wincott is like working with Benjamin Bratt, because Benjamin Bratt's like, oh, they're gonna find me out. You need to get me the fuck out of here. And there's like mechanical voice on the other end, like muffled up voice. And then you see who it is, and it's Michael Wincott talking to him. Like, Michael Wincott's like, you need to get the device, and you need to get out of there. We will take care of you. We will give you a new identity if you give us the device. And when it turns around and reveals that Michael Wincott is like in on this, it plays this like sort of dun dun dun. Really? Michael Wincott turning out to be a villain is never ever going to be a twist. Especially in a series where he has already proven that he will betray somebody. He did earlier in the season. He totally fucked over Jack when Jack was trying to sneak into the embassy. He's already proven that he can't be trusted, and he will stab you in the back. And also, he's played by Michael Wincott. Yeah, he's gonna be a bad guy. And he turns out to be a bad guy. So Benjamin Bratt delivers him the device, the override device. Michael Wincott gets away for the time being. Benjamin Bratt ends up getting caught, and this is so fucking stupid. Like, Benjamin Bratt's in like an interrogation room, and they know they can't break him because he's former special ops. So Benjamin Bratt says like, yeah, I'll tell you what you need to know, just give me an immunity deal. And they're about to get the immunity deal ready, but of course Jack like breaks Benjamin Bratt's hand. Benjamin Bratt's like handcuffed in a chair. Hannah McCabe comes in with a gun and is threatening to blow his brains out. Jack comes in like, Hannah! Okay, her name's not Hannah in this, but hopefully you catch the reference I'm making. Hannah, put the gun down! No, he's like, no, he doesn't know anything. I'm just gonna shoot him. I'm just gonna shoot him. And Benjamin Bratt's like, oh no, don't do that. I'll tell you what you need to know. Here's the override code, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, thanks for telling us, and leave. Like it was all this thing they set up just so he would tell them. One, no goddamn way someone like Benjamin Bratt would ever fucking fall for that, this special ops character. And even if he was kind of falling for it, if there's an immunity deal on the line, when it's either an immunity deal or the death penalty, which they end up saying that he's probably going to get, he's not going to give them the actual code in that moment. He's going to give them a fake. And then he's gonna realize right there that they were just putting on an act. Oh, again, stupid people doing stupid shit so they can get caught for no other reason. There's no reason why characters in this would do something so fucking stupid except that the writers of the show have written themselves into a hole. That's it. The writers all constantly write themselves into a corner. The only way for them to get out of it is to have somebody do something stupid. Like Lady Stark. She ends up, part of why she gets caught is because the president says he's going to turn himself into her. And she's like, well, okay, the president's going to turn himself in. I guess we got what we wanted, so let's destroy those drones. I mean, he kept up his end of the bargain. I might as well keep up my end of the bargain. Okay. Like, okay. I find it hard to believe that anyone would really believe the sincerity of the president right here. Granted, the president was being sincere, but Jack Bauer came in with a plan because he's Jack Bauer and he is the only smart character in this show. and that includes Chloe O'Brien, because at one point, way later in the season, like episode 9 or 10 or something, it like alludes that like she and Michael Wincott are a couple out of nowhere. There's not been any hint towards that. That doesn't seem like that's something that was even going on, especially since he betrayed them earlier in the season. So, okay, well, he is Michael Wincott, and he is wearing an ascot. He is very charming in this. And then, is this when I get to the finale? Is there anything else? I hope I'm not missing anything here. So it turns out that the Chinese are kind of the big bads in this. Cheng, the guy who was after Jack in Season 5 and then abducted him at the end of Season 5, he comes back. So sure, let's bring back like the most unintimidating villain the series has had. One of them, anyway. So Cheng comes back, and what does he even want? Oh, he's trying to make it... Yeah, he's stolen the override device, and he arms a nuclear submarine that blows up a Chinese aircraft carrier. So now the Chinese thinks that the United States did this, and then a war is going to happen because of it. And the president gets on the line with the president of China and says, hey, we didn't do this. We got that crazy motherfucker Cheng. He stole the device. He's the one who set this up. Like, we did not do this. And the Chinese president's like, well, I still need to retaliate. He's like, well, can you give us like an hour so we can produce Cheng and some evidence? Like, all right, fine. Which actually they really don't. Like, they're still planning on like retaliating, and it's like, okay, well, maybe give them some time. Maybe give them a little bit of time here to try to produce Cheng. So now they're down to the wire to find Cheng. Meanwhile, Cheng has got Audrey held hostage. So, and this is, where do I even begin with this? Well, the cool thing that happened was we get to see Jack decapitate someone with a samurai sword. Never saw that. That was kind of cool. He decapitates a guy with a samurai sword. Alright, right on. Throwing Lady Stark out the window was... Nothing can top that this season. Throwing Lady Stark out the window is, again, like I said, that just should have been the finale. In fact, if you watch this, if you go and just stop once Lady Stark is taken care of. Of course, if you're watching me right now and you're doing this, I've totally spoiled everything for you. So this cannot be... The show will not be suspenseful for you in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so Audrey has a sniper. Hang on, I gotta let Lloyd in. He's out there crying. He's just upset because I've spoiled so much of 24. Come on, buddy. There you go. You want up here? You want to talk 24? You were there watching it with me. You fell asleep. You gonna watch it even though I've spoiled the entire thing for you? Come here, buddy. Jump up. Come on, you can do it. There you go. Lloyd's gonna finish out the review with me. He watched it. His review for it was... Good boy. Alright, so... long story short, here's a really major... There's a couple of major problems that I have with the finale. One of which being Audrey gets shot and killed. Audrey ends up getting shot and killed, and I was sitting there. I knew someone was going to end up getting killed because it was 24. But when dude pops out of the bushes with a machine gun and shoots at a bunch of them, and Audrey's in the background kind of keeled over, I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this. This wasn't very effective on me, at least for the right reasons, because, you know, when is enough enough? Like, we're 9 seasons into this. How much more shit can you put a character through, like Jack Bauer? Like seriously, this is beyond even like Charles Bronson reaching Death Wish 5 and like every member of his family and friend's family have been raped or murdered or something. Hey boy. we've gone beyond reaching that level. Like, enough's enough. Stop it. Between his wife getting killed, which didn't even make sense anyway, but between Nina shooting his wife, between his friends constantly getting murdered, between love interests being kidnapped and brainwashed, between being told to stay away from love interests, between being kidnapped and tortured for years on end, between all of this stuff that keeps happening to this guy. Just stop. Honestly, I am not one of those guys who every ending has to be a happy ending. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. But when it gets to about season 9 and you've just done so much shit to a character, which right now has just gone beyond crossing over into just plain old being mean-spirited towards a character in terms of the writing, stop it. Like, just once, give the guy a fucking break. Seriously, give the guy a happy ending once. Not this I can't believe his daughter is still alive. The 124 character that most people wanted to see dead. Well, she's been written out of the show for years, but... So, enough. Enough with, like, putting Jack through hostile levels of torture. Enough with murdering everybody who comes close to him. It's old. Everything about this is old. The format's old. The plots are old. This whole giving Jack another reason to be a dark, depressed, gruff character. Stop it. Just stop it. And, like, there's only so much you can do to a fucking character before it just gets ridiculous. And that was my feeling with Audrey getting killed. Like, that I don't know what else to say about it. And when you break the news to Jack, I'm not sure if during a firefight with the Chinese, while they're trying to apprehend Chang in order to stop World War III, is the right time to tell him. Maybe wait until the world is saved before you tell him. Granted, telling him did certainly put him into wrath mode. It did. Yeah, within like 5 seconds he took out about every freaking guy on this ship with a machine gun, walked in, broke dude's arm, had a fight with the guy, and then chopped a motherfucker's head off. But it's Jack Bauer. He could do that stuff anyway, regardless if you tell him that his love interest is dead. And then it ends with more or less the same ending from season 5. Where, okay, Chloe ends up getting kidnapped, and Jack, in exchange for her, she gets kidnapped by the Russians. In exchange for her release, Jack turns himself into the Russians. And technically the season does cover 24 hours because the last 10 minutes of it take place 12 hours later. Really no reason, like, they could have, like, what happens in the last scene probably could have happened at the end of the 12-hour point, to be perfectly honest. And, like, sure, yeah, it's cutting to other things, like a debriefing and Audrey's casket being delivered, but that wasn't really essential. It didn't necessarily have to. The conversations that are taking place could have happened still at, like, the 11-hour, 50-minute point. And it still does the same. Like, I know it's like, well, but yeah, Jack wouldn't have been able to deliver himself to this location in time for blah blah blah. Oh, sure he could have. This show does stupid shit like that all the fucking time. There was, like, when the drone hit the football stadium. When the drone hit the fucking football stadium and there was a big explosion, and this is how one of the episode ends, and then immediately when it's picked up at the beginning of the next episode, There's already TV cameras there. It's already making the news. People are already huddled around the TV having a briefing about it. So yeah, that stupid shit happens in 24 all the time. It's a lot more noticeable when you watch them back to back to back to back. Like in season 1, where there was still like a little bit of sunlight out at the end of an episode, and then when it picked back up at the beginning, it was pitch fucking black outside. That 1 millisecond that makes the difference between sunlight and none. So Jack ends up going with the Russians, and he's hauled off to Moscow, probably to be imprisoned, and that's how it ends. Okay, so it's like the end of season 5 if Jack did it willingly and wasn't kidnapped. It's the same basic thing. The only difference is, like I just said, he's willingly turning himself in this time, and at the end of season 5 he was kidnapped. But still, it's still a foreign government who wants Jack because of things he previously did, and they want to imprison him for it. That's the same fucking thing that happened at the end of season 5. I don't know why I'm expecting anything different to happen, because nothing fucking different has happened this whole season yet. So, yeah, Jack rides away by helicopter, and that right there is a tease that there's going to be another season, because what the fuck would it end like that? So, yeah, there will be another season on this, because sure, and Jack will be imprisoned, and he'll bust out, or someone will bust him out, or they'll need Jack's help for something. Whatever. I've seen this shit before. Jack will get busted out somehow, and then maybe they'll re-blow up Valencia, because that's what they did in season 6. Just, please don't do this again. Please. Like, if this comes back, and it will, it'll come... You want out, buddy? Oh wait, he's hiding behind the curtains. I got curtains hung up on the walls to, like, kind of deal with sound and stuff like that. Lloyd appears to be lost behind the curtains. Or maybe it's just a little extra warm back there. You alright, buddy? He's good. So, please, if this comes back, please do something different with it. I beg you. And maybe I am in a total minority here. This has a lot of critics who like it, who are still into the suspense of it, who are still into the gimmick. It's got like, I don't know, 70, 80 something on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a fucking 9.1 on IMDb. Maybe, I don't know, some of the reviews I've read seem to base that just on Jack Bauer alone and some of the action sequences. Yeah, sure, the action sequences are... There's a car chase that involves shooting drones at the car as it goes through London. Okay, yeah, that was a well-shot sequence. It certainly was, but... There's nothing else of substance to this, like, at fucking all. It's just, like, yeah, Jack Bauer does some cool shit, like, okay, if I'm recommending this based on Jack Bauer doing cool stuff, then yeah, this is fucking 4 stars. He throws someone out a goddamn window. I'm sorry, at this point, I need a little bit fucking more than that. I really fucking do at this point. So, yeah, this thing is getting good enough reviews. I think the ratings are fine. It's got a fucking 9.1 on IMDb, which is higher than Mad Men, which is fucking sane. So, okay, I guess this format is still working for some people. I mean, it's not for me. It's not for me. Just, it isn't working for me. It hasn't worked for me anymore for a while. I love the character of Jack Bauer. I love Kiefer Sutherland. Lloyd does too. Man, I just want something different next season. Just something. I don't care anything. Aliens. Time machines. Fuck. Even drop the real-time format. I know that's the gimmick of the show, but at least that would be something. Get, like, maybe a personal revenge story, like I said in one of the other vlogs. Like, turn it into, like, fucking Straw Dogs or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just over... I've been over it for years, and I still am. Like, why... It's like... I don't know. It's like polishing a turd, but not actually touching the turd. It's like giving someone a makeover and making them look exactly the same. That's it. That's 24 Live Another Day in a nutshell. I got a few vlogs out of it. Rambling like fucking crazy. What's gotta be past midnight right now. It is past midnight. It's 12:02. This vlog was filmed in real time. I should just stop now and then pick it up 12 hours later. And then I should turn myself into the Russians. I'm turning myself in because I did a Snob episode on Russian the Hobbit. Sorry. Okay, well, I hope you like these few videos of me rambling like a fucking lunatic about 24. It's like I said, it's just... It's an obligation show. That's it. It's grandfathered into being an obligation show for me. Like I swore to myself that after 24, after Dexter, after some other shows that just ended like shit, that I was like, okay, I am not going to devote however many years of my life to something that's starting to suck. Like if I watch like a season that sucks, it's like I'm like I don't know if I can do this anymore. But 24 got grandfathered into that because it came back. Because it fucking came back. I'm like, well, like I said, made it through 8 years. What's another 12 episodes? Lloyd's got the final word right there. I'm out of breath. Alright. I'm going to go downstairs, watch the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and put on some Mystery Science Theater until I fall asleep. 24 is over. Yay! See ya.